What's going on, everyone, and welcome to episode 2. Before we get stuck into the episode, I just wanted to bring your attention to an initiative being run by Luke Stevens and his family, where they'll be cycling for 48 hours straight in their home in an effort to raise money for a charity called Constantia Can. Constantia Can aims to provide food parcels for people in Khayelitsha and in desperate need. So I'll tag them in the description, and I encourage you guys to give where you can. And it says in the post as well that any donation will be greatly appreciated, and a donation of 100 Rand will feed a child for a month, and a donation of 600 Rand will feed a family for a month. So I encourage you guys to have a look at his post and read more about it. So that being said, let's get stuck into the video, and I hope you guys enjoy.
Seth,
What's happening?
how you doing?
Yeah, good and you.
Yeah, good, thanks. Good. How you been keeping busy with lockdown and everything?
Yeah, as much as I can, bro. Yeah, it's getting a bit long now. I'll be honest, but
Yeah.
it's getting there eventually, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's getting a bit slow now, but trying to keep myself as busy as possible, you know.
Well,
And
thank you so
yourself?
much. Say again?
And yourself?
Yeah, it's been alright. I've been working on this, and then obviously now we're just getting into our online classes for uni and everything. So that's taking up a bit of time. But yeah. Thank you so much for coming on. It's awesome to be in the midst of an Olympian. I just, for the guys at home, I kind of just want to give a brief intro. I'll try to keep it brief. Introduction to you. So Dylan is a Wynberg old boy that has previously played for the Western Force, the Western Province, and the Ike Tigers. He's currently with the Bulls and the Blitzboks, where he's been very successful. He's been to the Rio Olympics with them and won bronze there, so that's awesome. And yeah, he's also won bronze at the World Cup Sevens, the Sevens World Cup. So very successful. Dylan, just before we kind of get into the bulk of the interview or whatever, I kind of just want to get an idea of. So you were at the Western Force as quite a young guy. What was being in the same side as Nick Cumbins, more affectionately known as the Honey Badger, like what was he like in the team environment? Because he's quality on our screens. So what was he like in the team environment?
No, he's a quality gent. He's a bit of a different cat, and I think that what makes him entertaining. You know, he's a bit of a strange fellow, but in a good way, and he's good fun. He keeps the boys entertained.
Yeah. And was he cool to the new guys, or was it very like a different dynamic?
No, he's a very good guy, very humble guy. I quite enjoyed him. Got along quite nicely with him, actually.
Cool, awesome. So Dylan, unfortunately for you, you picked up a fractured ankle. Am I right? Just at the beginning of the season, the warm-up games. How's the rehab going? Is it going well? And how are you keeping busy? I know you mentioned that you play NBA and FIFA. But otherwise, I know so the rehab must be keeping you pretty busy. But other than the rehab, what have you been keeping busy with?
Yeah, so I actually dislocated my ankle. That was in beginning of Feb. So I'm looking at about 6 months plus on the sideline. So I'll probably be back sort of August, September time. Looking
It's
to be around
everyone else will
there.
be back as well.
Seems like it, the way it's going at the moment. It's going to be around about that time. Yeah, so just to go to the ankle. So, I mean, the first couple of weeks was not much. I mean, my first 3 weeks after surgery was, not much going on. I couldn't really do a lot. Pretty much just on the couch and back on bed. Because I was in a boot for about 6 weeks, and then in crutches for about 6 to 8 weeks. So there wasn't much. Obviously now I'm walking around a bit more. The last 2 or 3 weeks has been a bit better in terms of like mobility and stuff. So listen, the first 4 or 5 weeks, everyone else was doing everything. I was already in lockdown. So I've been pretty much in lockdown for like 8 weeks now.
You must be going pretty crazy.
Listen, the first 3 or 4 weeks I couldn't do much anyway. Like I didn't want to be out the house because it's, you couldn't do anything. I was in pain. Yeah, just in pain all the time, just on oxycodone all the time. So you're in and out of sleep. And then then the lockdown happened and I kind of went back into it. Like I've only started rehab pretty much last week, bro, because I couldn't really do much until the staples came out and my boot actually came out properly. So yeah, I mean I haven't done much. This is the first week of actual rehab. So I've got my spinning bike here, and then I've got a rehab program that's going. But otherwise, bro, a little bit. It does take up a bit of my time, but otherwise, I picked up a short course now. I'm doing.
Cool.
My boots over in London now, so we decided we're going to do the same short course while
that's very
while
cool.
we both sort of under lockdown. Yeah, so we do about 2 or 3 sections, or a section or 2 a day. So it kind of keeps us busy for a couple of hours, which is nice, bro. And then otherwise, listen, it's a full house, bro. I've got 2 dogs, a cat, girlfriend's working every day. So, I've got to do a bit of the housework every now and then, bro. So that keeps me busy. But the dogs have got to go out to, out in the garden, a bit of playtime here and there. So it actually is funny how fast the day goes.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned you have cats and dogs, but is it dogs and cats, or is it cats and dogs? Which are you more of a cat or dog guy?
Well, was more of a dog person, but then obviously I met my girlfriend. She had the cat, sort of just got the cat about 6 months before we met. But I've grown very close to the cat, So actually, it started maybe dog here and cat here, and I sort of moved to pretty much everything. I love all 3 of them equally. Yeah.
Fair enough.
They keep me busy. The cat's a bit low on maintenance. The dog's a bit more maintenance, but no, it's still fun.
Cool. So I was speaking to Tom last week, and he kind of mentioned that in sport you kind of call a spade, and the short-term injuries it's not too bad for sportsmen, just for a bit of a break. But I mean, 6 months mentally, how has that kind of affected you? It's obviously tough. You've trained a long preseason, and then just in the preseason games, you kind of get hit with that news. How mentally has that affected you?
No, it takes a big hit. I was playing good rugby before it happened. I felt good for the season coming. So to have an injury is a bit of a gut punch when, it's definitely if you're really struggling and you pick up injury, you need to give yourself some time. But when you're playing good rugby, the last thing you want to do is kind of have to sit back. So that's tough to get over. Unfortunately, you got to kind of, you kind of just got to throw it off and start again. Unfortunately, when it is 6 months, though, it starts getting long. It's my longest injury by far. So it's also new ground for me. So I'm taking it as it is. I haven't done it before, being out this long. So it's certainly challenging. But obviously, this is also, for me, a contract year. So at the end of this year, I'm out of contract with the Bulls. So it's now a season where you're not going to be playing much rugby, and you still need to sign again afterwards. So it's tough. It obviously plays a part, but I think that's what a support structure is for as well. You know what I mean? I think I've got a good bunch of mates. The girlfriend is here. We've been living together now for 3.5 years. So I think it wasn't for her, it would be a hell of a lot more tough. So I think a support structure is good, and I've got a good agent who looks after me. So I've got good people around me that sort of keep it under control. And rugby is not also my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rugby has to end one day. It ends. You know what I mean? I've done a lot of things before rugby, and I'll do plenty more after rugby. Obviously, I will still want to play rugby for the foreseeable future. That is it. So it comes with challenges, but it's it's weighing it up. You know what I mean? You got to try and have a positive mindset. That's not always how it's going to happen. Sometimes you wake up in the morning and it's not a lekker day.
Yeah.
But you pull yourself back. I think you got to give yourself a couple of bad days as well. You can't expect to be happy, go lucky every day.
Yeah.
You obviously go through the trials and tribulations a little bit. You know what I mean? You'll wake up in the morning and feel cuck one day. You can have your day and then sort of get back onto it the next day.
Yeah, totally. That's awesome. It's awesome to also find out. So I guess sort of older rugby players who've retired now kind of learned the hard way, where they kind of was rugby and then it ended, and then it was like, oh, okay, that's what do we do now? So it's cool to see the younger players invest time while playing rugby for post rugby, which is awesome to see. And so if we can just shift our focuses now to the Olympics. So when you got that email or phone call, I'm not sure how it happens, that you were going to the Rio Olympics, what were you feeling? Who'd you call first? What kind of emotions was it like? Oh my word, yeah, that's awesome. So can you guys just kind of chat me through that?
Yeah, so it sort of works is you obviously go one by one sort of into the coach's office, and he sort of chats to you and gives you sort of the yes or no. And obviously you've heard from a few people whether they're going before, whether they're going or not, you know what I mean? So maybe you're 7th or 8th in line, so you're waiting, you hear some guys give you the thumbs up, the thumbs down, you know what I mean? So you hear a bit of the skin on the side. But I was still new to the system that time, so it was different for me. I think if it was now, it might be a bit more nerve-wracking because there'd be a lot more on the line. When I was, 2016, it was only my first year there. So if I hadn't have made it, I would have said, it's fine. I've still got 3 more years. It was my first year. I only played about 8 or 9 tournaments before I actually got chosen. So obviously I wanted to go, and I would have been very disappointed if I didn't go. But at the same time, I think I would have handled a lot better than if it was now. And obviously, when I got told I was going, I was, very excited. You know what I mean? That's obviously like, I don't think rugby players really necessarily know the magnitude of the Olympics, because it's not really something that we think about when we playing rugby or even cricket, for example. But yeah, it's massive. It's when you start talking to the other athletes around there, and their whole lives revolve around the Olympics.
Yeah.
I mean, even the Commonwealth Games, when I went there, it's you can't even compare it. You know what I mean? The Commonwealth Games is great, but the Olympics is just something special.
Yeah. Even as a kid, you picture the Olympics, and it's like, oh, that's like all the stars.
It's massive, and it's huge, but it's huge, and the whole Olympic experience is something that I can hopefully do again. But I've done it one time, and it was fantastic. It's something that I'll be able to keep with me, bro.
Yeah, fingers crossed you make 2020, huh?
2021, boy.
Is it 2021?
Yeah, well,
because it's just been
obviously delayed it. Yeah, I wouldn't have gone this year. I would have missed it this year because of the injuries. So I probably would have.
So maybe a bit of a silver lining there.
Bit of a silver lining. Yeah, obviously a lot of things still need to happen, but I probably would have made it this year because of the injury. But otherwise, we'll see what the future holds.
Awesome. And then, can you kind of just tell us what the whole Olympic experience is like? Because I know I certainly won't make the Olympics ever, and maybe one or two guys watching might. But what was the whole Olympic experience like, and the village, and was it rubbing shoulders with guys that you've seen on TV and you've been like, whoa, okay, that's awesome. Can you guys kind of just chat us through the whole experience?
I think one of the coolest parts is probably meeting guys that you wouldn't really meet on a normal basis. It's that those athletes, like, all tennis players, all the sprinters, all those kind of guys, the swimmers and stuff, the guys you watch in the Olympics play, and you watch them, in other sports around the world. So that was obviously, that's something that I won't ever meet those guys again.
Yeah.
There's a pretty good odds of that. So, that was special. The village is cool, man. I mean, the village is like, it's pretty much just like a little city in itself. You know what I mean? It's it's pretty much, it's built around, it's like a little town inside a town, So you pretty much live isolated to the rest of the other world. It's just all the athletes in one village. It's cool, but obviously I wouldn't want to be in there for too many weeks at a time, because it does get a bit monotonous. But I mean, obviously the experience is awesome. It's really to do it and meet other people and learn from other people. You know what I mean? And just being a part of it, for the first time was crazy.
Yeah, that's rad. And so you've obviously made the transition from 7s to 15s now, and you're still involved in the 7s. Can you identify? So firstly, have you noticed any physical differences between the two? And then is there a mentality shift that needs to happen between 7s and 15s, or is it rugby as general as a code stays the same and the values stay the same, or is there a mental shift?
I think the mental thing is the same. I think if you got to have a mental focus wherever you are, I don't think that's going to change anyway. I think if you're not prepared for something, you're not going to be good at it, no matter how talented you are or anything like that. You know what I mean? I think your mental focus is something that needs to come with you wherever you're playing, whether it's soccer, cricket, whatever, even in normal, normal work. But it's different. It's very different sports. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's far more cardiovascular work in 7s. It's shorter, it's faster. So in terms of fitness-wise, obviously I would say that's tougher. But also, you're playing an 80-minute game in Super Rugby is no joke. You know what I mean? Like, 40 minutes over fast, you're very tired. But 80-minute game in Super Rugby is hectic. The game is really fast, and you don't realize it until you start playing how fast it actually is and how tired you actually get over those 80 minutes. I mean, the first couple games I played, after 50, 60 minutes, I'm starting to pull cramp already. You know what I mean? I wasn't really used to playing 80 minutes. I'm used to playing 14 minutes, and then playing 40 minutes after that. So
go.
80 in one hit is tough, bro. And it's obviously very physical. It's very, it's something where you can't afford to make mistakes. You learn to not be mistake prone, because it's not going to last very long. I could say 7s is the same thing. So there's a lot of similarities, but also a lot of differences. So obviously it's a lot more structured Super Rugby to 7s. There's a lot more detail-orientated things. Sevens is a lot more simplistic in itself.
Okay.
15s can get quite complex, especially the higher you go up. There's far more you need to learn and know. Physicality-wise, 15s, obviously, there's some bigger boys. You're obviously making more hits in the game. Speed of the game, I'd probably say 7s happen faster, but I mean, also, one bad read in 15s and they're going to score. You know what I mean?
Yeah, especially at that level. Yeah, I can
sure.
imagine they punish you with any mistake.
Yeah, exactly.
So you mentioned the physical differences. So in 15, so you're mentally prepping. So you're intentional for a week for one game. It's all that focus on one game. But in sevens, it can often be 2 to 3 games in a day. So how do you as an individual cope with that short turnaround, just so you can get back into that complete flow and that focus?
Yeah, that is a tough part, I guess. You do have a lot more time in 15 to reset again, but it comes with experience as well. You sort of learn to do that over time. It does take a little bit of time, trial and error to get what works for you. The first couple of tournaments, I think that's what it's for. Your first couple of seasons maybe is to learn and try and be consistent all the time. So a lot of time what happens is when you start playing, you're good for one game, not great the next one, good for one, not great for two, because you sort of don't know how to keep that trajectory of constant performance. You sort of up one game, down one game because your motivation maybe not there, you're not too strong. So I think with experience, and obviously you learn to have tools, and that's what mental coaches are for. Guys like Tom and the guys we work with at the sevens, they teach you certain things, and then you find what sort of works for you and what you need to do between games to get you back to sort of a neutral playing ground again, sort of I call it zero. Get back to zero, and then you can go again from there. So you need to learn what works for you, because not everything works for. It's not just one rule works for everyone.
Yeah,
you got to find sort of what gets you to get your peak performance every game. And I think you learn that over the games you play and the tournaments you play, and maybe even the seasons and years that you play. You sort of learn to know what works for me now, and then you get into that groove all the time.
Yeah. I guess that's kind of why experience is valued so much in the team environment, just so that they're guys who know how to get to zero and get into that flow as quick as possible, just so you can perform at their best. So that's cool.
No, for sure.
And then, so for you in a 15s game, how would you prepare, like over the week, and then on the Saturday, say you're playing Super Rugby? Is it very much team bus music, just very much focus, or are you quite relaxed and chilled out about it? So how do you prepare mentally for a 15s game?
Are you talking about like game day?
Yeah, game day.
Yeah, it's a very long. So I'm not sure if it works at other unions, but like at the Bulls, for example, it's quite a long process before the game. I mean, if you're playing at either 3, 5, or 7, 3 is a bit different. 3 is a lot shorter day, but if you're playing like 7 at night, I mean, you got the whole day still. So I mean, you can't really wake up with a super focus on rugby. You kind of have to wake up and sort of do what you would do on a normal day. Obviously, you can't go and do a gym session or run around wherever you're going. But I mean, you want to have sort of a relaxed, chill start to the day. Let the brain just relax for a little bit, because I mean, once I'd say 1 or 2 o'clock starts, you start getting that focus mode.
Yeah.
So I mean, Monday, the morning is quite relaxed. You try and sleep in, have a good breakfast, just chill around the house a little bit, and then obviously you'll pack your stuff for the game. Head through to Loftus, and then if you'll get there, you'll do a couple stretches and stuff. It's a long day in terms of like mental prep. You're going to start early, so we have like a mid-table lunch, and then you can chill out for a bit. So it's keeping yourself sort of ready, but also like very cool. It's not you can't really go in there and just trying to be firing from when you first arrive. So I listen to music. I'll try and get my mind a little bit off the game, just to chill out a little bit. If I'm asleep for a couple of hours during the time that we are prepping, when guys are strapping or they've got a couple of extra things to do, maybe have a bit of a sleep, rest the body a bit, activate the body as well, make sure everything's feeling good, everything's firing, if something's not feeling right, get it stretched out or get it loosened, get it activated, so by the time you're going on, it's ready to go. And then obviously my mental prep starts to increase. You try and visualize things in the game, you try and make sure your body's feeling good as well as your mind. So, and that also ties into knowing what's good for you and what works for you. I can't do what someone else does. I've got to do what works for me, and I feel like I'm in the best mental space before I go on the field.
Yeah. And then So you say it's quite a long day. When do nerves set in? If they do, I mean, some nerves are good, but when would nerves kind of set in?
I think probably closer towards the game, because I try not to think about it too much. I think you're sort of more towards the game. Maybe when you run out for the warm up, I'd say probably.
Okay.
Maybe get a bit anxious before the warm up starts. Maybe that's for 20 minutes before, 10 minutes before. Sort of looking at the clock to see, because obviously we have a scheduled time or what time we need to be out and need to start the warm up and all of that. So you're kind of looking and going, okay, 5 minutes feels a bit long. You're looking every single time. So it sort of builds a little bit. But yeah, I'd say probably just before the warm up, maybe 20 minutes before the warm up, you start getting that little, those jitters,
Yeah, those butterflies.
A little bit, yeah. I don't feel the butterflies anymore too much, but I mean, it's there. Your nerves always,
Yeah, it's weird. Whenever I ran on for the third side, I always got these butterflies. I think that's why I think that's the difference between you and me. You didn't feel the butterflies. My butterflies took over.
I think it's good to have nerves. You need to have a little bit of nerves. I think otherwise you're a bit undercooked. I think nerves help you get focus as well.
Yeah, awesome. So Dylan, that brings us to our game. I played this last week and I got quite a cool reaction from it. So I think it'll be awesome to play it again. So I'll just explain it to you and then we'll shoot straight into it. So I'm going to ask you a series of 7 questions, but like random, completely like out of the blue. And then you're going to think fast. So you must give me your first answer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if you don't want to answer, you can just say pass. So it's not fixed like that. So, and it's random. I'm just warning you, it's random. Okay. So first question, let's shoot. Why is she doing that?
How many things going through your head?
Exactly. Exactly. Just say the first one.
I'll be more prepared. Let's go.
Okay. So now we start at number 2 now.
Okay.
Why did you get kicked off the airplane?
Smoking.
My dad actually said that exact answer. It's weird.
Yeah, I think that's most people's answers.
What are cows trying to say when they moo?
Hello.
Shout any first name.
Dylan.
Respect. Why did you WhatsApp Tom?
Chat.
What are the twins' names?
Roy and Aiden.
That was good. What is the biggest number?
Trillion. That's going to come back to haunt me. I couldn't think that fast.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That game gets me every time. It's like...
Yeah, they put on the spot, huh?
Exactly. Everything goes through your mind.
I know, bro. I know.
I'm just happy I'm not on the receiving end of that one.
Damn, man, damn. Well, I feel like I did okay. Not great, but I mean.
No, those are quality. Those are quality. Cool. So if we can shift our focus again, just back onto sevens. In your opinion, who would you say the top 3 guys you've played against, or so when you're on the field or in the team meeting chatting about, I don't know what happens in team meetings, but you chat about the guys and you see, okay, the top 3 guys, you've been like, shucks, I'm in for a tough day at the office.
Yeah, shit. To say 3 is tough because there's so many. There's a lot of, obviously, because every team will have this sort of superstars. You know what I mean? Obviously, the better sides have a couple of guys you always have to look out for. So,
or it doesn't have to be 3. It can be as many as you want.
Yeah, I think so. Look, you go to Fiji. I mean, Fiji. The problem with Fiji is they have so many. You know what I mean? It's not just one. Obviously, Jerry's one of their standout guys that does a lot for them.
Yeah.
But they got a few of the big boys. I remember. I'm not sure if he's still playing at the moment. I think he might be injured this year. It's tough to obviously, but they have their playmakers. You look at teams like the USA. Obviously it's guys like Perry and Carlin are kind of like their go-to players who are going to make something happen for them. They've come up a long way in the last couple of years because they managed to get a few players in the forwards to work well for them as well.
Okay.
Like Danny's pretty handy. Thomasine is a good player. So those are the guys you sort of know because you play more. You realize who the problem guys are. Like England, Tom Mitchell was always good. He always gave us trouble. Dan Bibby always gave us a hard time. I think Dan Norton still gives us a hard time. New Zealand, they've got a few youngsters now. Names are gonna get past me, but there's a couple of new guys they brought in that are really quite tough to handle. So I'd say like in every team there's like one or two guys you say, hey, we've got to stop this guy. If you can stop this guy, you've got a good chance. If you don't, then there's going to be issues.
So I just wouldn't So you play against the USA, and I mean someone like Baker or Isles. I mean they're incredibly fast. I was never a quick guy, so whenever someone had more pace than me, it was a nightmare to defend. How are there kind of structures to defend that pace, or is it you just got to make that first time tackle?
No, of course, we obviously prepare for that stuff, and that's what preparation and training is for, and all that stuff, because we know we're going to play against. Obviously, it's different when you're playing in like your quarterfinals, semis, and finals, but that's what you do your prep for. So you kind of learn, because you don't just play them once off and they'll play them again. You play them fairly frequently, so you sort of learn what works because you've had the results go your way. You say, okay, obviously this works for us, so this is how we're going to sort of play them. So you sort of learn. It's obviously challenging. There's no plan that's going to work 100% right. You're obviously going to have times where they're going to get the better of you, or something doesn't work the way it should work, and you've got to kind of improvise. And I think that's where the experience comes in as well, to learn how to do it. Because they'll beat you a couple of times, but it's learning to do that and always having the right mindset. And you kind of got to put that superstar mentality out of you when you're playing against them. You can't hold up to too high regard. It's going to sort of block your mental path. But you prepare as much as you can. I think the preparation is the key. And you sort of learn. We do put in place. We don't just go on the field and run around and see how it works. You know what I mean? Because that's going to obviously backfire. So we do prepare for guys like that. And then if it doesn't work, you have to adapt. And the faster you can adapt is the better team you're going to be. Yeah,
totally. And so can you explain the feeling of play, if you can? I mean, it must be pretty incredible. It's just playing in front of a packed Cape Town Stadium or Loftus. I mean, Cape Town Stadium's capacity is about 55,000 people. Can you kind of explain that feeling? And prior to a big game, is there much motivating happening in the change room, or is it the guys obviously know the job to do? And if there is motivating, who's kind of the motivator in the Bulls and the Blitzboks?
So going to the sevens, I'd say Cape Town's crazy. I mean, that stadium is wild, and that crowd is obviously, it's a party weekend. So people are going there for the good jewels. You know what I mean? So
I've had a lot of fun there.
Crowd. It's, very, very energizing. Very energizing. Okay. And I think that also gets your motivation. That you'll get a certain bit of motivation from that. I think there's no person who's going to motivate anyone else. You would kind of have a thing at the sevens where, and I think it's everywhere, you have to motivate yourself. No one, no one's going to get you up for it. You know what I mean? Obviously, it does help if you can see guys are focused and guys are bringing a lot of energy. That sort of does have the knock-on effect. You're going to feel energized. Yeah. That's sort of how I feel. That's my sort of approach. If I can feel guys are ready and guys are working, then I can feed off that. But, you've also got to have a large amount of your own preparation. So you need to know what works for you, and you need to get yourself into a good mindset. You can't let someone next to you get you into a mindset. You know what I mean? Because you're taking from them. You got to kind of be a giver, and you've got to try and, if you can feel guys aren't giving the energy, you kind of have to provide a bit more But I think the main thing is everyone has to learn to get into their own mental space. You can't, the coach is not going to motivate you to play every single time. A player next you can't. You've got to kind of learn to do it yourself.
And I wonder, so could you so Tom last week said that I asked him about like the most professional guys and successful guys, and he kind of mentioned that the most professional guys are intentional. Have you? I wonder can you explain or identify guys that you've? I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot here, but guys that you've played with or played against that have been very intentional, professional about their craft.
Tom Dawson Squibb is always very good at answering these questions. And anyone else who answers after this, going to feel like a dirt. But no, there's a lot of guys. I think, guys like Roscoe, guys like Ciabello, I think, guys like Philip. I'm going from sevens now because that was where I started. So that's where I sort of learned from. Obviously at the Bulls, a lot of guys as well. I think, guys like Warwick Galant is extremely well prepared always. Guys like Roscoe's here. Sheikh Siviwe, so his wife, they all got very good professional work ethics, and I think they realize because they have to work so hard to get where they are, that they don't take it for granted, and I think they realize how fast that can sort of end.
Okay.
So yeah, they've got great work ethic, and it's nice because if you see someone doing that, it kind of makes you do it as well. You kind of have the mentality of, listen, these folks are working, and I've got to kind of do that, otherwise, I'm going to fall short, and that's where you kind of you get shown up.
So awesome
environment. So it's got that knock-on effect. You know what I mean? So you see guys doing that kind of, I feel like I'm quite professional in myself, but it also does help a lot to see guys like that, because it pushes you sort of to the next level again, because you're trying to almost, not one-up someone, but it's sort of like the competitive spirit to be like, these guys are doing this, I was going to do that, you know what I mean? Because I don't want to get shown up on the field.
Yeah. Especially as an athlete, I mean, if you're intentional and you're professional, it's only going to benefit you, I guess. You're not doing it just to look cool or to do. You're kind of doing it just to make yourself come to the top of your game, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'd probably say if I just say two guys, I'd probably say Warrior Talent and Roscoe Speck. Probably two guys that I'll look to for like real professionalism. And I think Siviwe for his wife as well, Shakes is also up there.
Awesome. And so I've been lucky enough to go to the Cape Town Sevens for the last 4 years, and obviously watch you guys apply your trade there.
Good vibes.
Yeah, awesome vibes. I've had a lot of fun. Do you think there's a mental block for you guys in Cape Town, or is it just the opposition turns up on the day, or do you kind of just want to chat us through that?
Yes and no. I think there are definitely some mental blocks, but I think we are a lot better at dealing with it. I think it's funny, we won the first one. I don't think our mental preparation was the best. I think we did let the crowd get to us, but we still managed to win that tournament. And there's been tournaments where we were probably better mentally focused that didn't win. Sometimes you can't always pin it down on one thing. I think if you look at this one, last time we played, I think our focus was there. Didn't always play the best rugby, but I think our focus was there. Just obviously, sometimes it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Sometimes there are obviously. That's why I said yes and no. I think we don't make it too big, but obviously it affects certain guys and it affects a lot of guys. It is definitely, it's a home tournament. People are watching you. There's a lot more media attention. Your families are there. Wife, girlfriend.
Yeah, understandable. Must be the whole experience must be overwhelming.
So it is overwhelming for guys, and you do see it does happen sometimes. But I think also that's an experience thing where you can't let that stuff affect you too much. You kind of got to go out there and get the job done. And I think that's going to work out for you better in the first place than being getting it let it get you a little bit, and it's worse doing bad in those tournaments. Rather be a bit less selfish and do well in the tournament as a team than have more of a selfish approach, but end up third or fourth because you sort of pie in your face. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that's always the Cape Town one is tricky. We've always had a problem there. Hong Kong is the same. We always do well in Cape Town. I think the results are there. I just don't think we always are happy with our processes because we do feel like sometimes it does get us. But I think you're never going to eliminate it completely that you're playing in a home tournament and you got all this media attention. So it's finding that right balance, and maybe we haven't found that balance the best in Cape Town. We're still searching for that perfect mixture where we feel like we're in a good headspace, not worrying too much about it. It's still a work in progress, and we still haven't got it right quite yet.
Okay, you've been so insightful, and it's awesome to have you on.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, it's honestly, it's awesome to have you, and hopefully we'll get you on soon. And thank you so much.
Pleasure, man. Thanks so much for having me, bro.
Cool. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers, boy.
Cheers.